Greetings and welcome to Old Drunken Discography. If this is your first video finding us, I apologize. Go check out the previous Foo Fighters records videos. Yeah, we have a Discord we like to hang out in. Links below. Yada yada yada.
I tried getting in there today. Sorry to interrupt, but I tried getting in there today and it's making me update for the new year. And it was very upsetting, but that's okay. I'll get back in there very soon.
Oh, hey, we also have a Patreon. Give us money.
Yeah, we do have a Patreon. With me today, I completely forgot to introduce you guys in the Wasting Light video. So, he's the Feast, Tim. And he's the famine, Colquitt.
And he's the river. That's Jason.
I am the river.
So, I would say he's in the clear. But, what did I do? God is my witness.
Colquitt just coming up with something from nothing.
I was outside.
I was subterranean.
So, yeah, we've already gone off the rails here. But if you're a old school ODD fan, that's how we do things. So we're going to talk about Sonic Highways.
I love this fucking record. This is my first time hearing it. I don't know the story behind it. I don't know nothing. I just know that this is like the most amazing songwriting from this band I've heard yet. Like every little piece and part, it sounds like the band's like a band and not like some guy writing a song and giving it to your friends and being like, hey, let's do this together. Like it sounds like a cohesive just piece of work. Like it's crazy. This is not my vibe musically. I'm not a 70s rock guy, and there's a lot of 70s rock on this record, but my God, it hit me over the fucking head with just how creative and fun and full of life and like just the guitar work interweaving with one another with the drums and the bass. Like everything about this record just said, hey, guess what? We the Foo Fighters, motherfucker. Like it was crazy. I really enjoyed this record a lot. I just don't even know. Like Subterranean made me feel things I haven't felt. Something from Nothing into the Feast and Famine, like just hit me over the fucking head with some good time rock and roll, fucking over, just awesome. Like, and Congregation's great. In the Clear, at first, like a lot of these songs, I'm like, I start out and I'm like, I don't know, man, I don't know, and then suddenly there's a moment where it all just clicks and makes sense, and then you just ride it out in the most joyous fashion. Like, it's just I love this shit. I thought it was awesome. I was really shocked at how much I liked it. It's really good.
Well, then I'm going to have to recommend the TV show that it's based around.
Well, please do, because I knew of it, but I was already dropped out of Foo Fighters by this point that I didn't even give
Sure, and coming off of Wasting Light, I was still on the train, ready to see what was going on. And Dave partnered with HBO, and they did an 8-part series where each song gets an episode. It's HBO. It's an hour. There's no commercials, so you get a full episode. Each song was recorded in a different recording studio in a different city across the United States. And each episode goes into the history of the musical history, I should say, of each city, and how it pertains to the Foo Fighters personally. They kind of go into that. Like a number of these studios are picked for very clear reasons. They go to Inner Ear, they go to Rancho de la Luna, they go back to Robert Lang. I mean,
they go to Sun, right?
They do not go to Sun, no.
Oh, yeah? Dang. All right, I seem to remember that for some reason.
In Nashville, they recorded at Southern Ground Studios.
Oh, okay. I knew they were
maybe that's the building that was originally Sun.
I might have just assumed Sun because I knew they were in Nashville for that. All right.
But obviously, they talk about Sun in the episode. Yeah. The series is great. It shows how they're coming up with the songs. They are basically jamming as a band in these studios, picking up vibes. Each song also has guest musicians. You got Rick Nielsen, you got Peter Stahl and Skeeter Thompson, you got Zach Brown, you got Gary Clark Jr., you got Joe Walsh, Chris Goss, I'm sorry. You got the Preservation Hall Jazz Band, you got Ben Gibbard, you got Tony Visconti, and you got Christine Young.
Dang.
Yeah. Yeah,
It definitely
right?
felt bigger than a typical Foo Fighters record, I guess, in a way. So that kind of explains a lot to me.
Yeah, and in concept, it is. It's a pretty big record. Each song lyrically deals with the episode. Because in each episode, he's interviewing people. Like, they go to Nashville, and he's talking to Dolly Parton. and, Dave can open a lot of doors. And he did on this project.
Awesome.
Album wise, it's not my favorites. I like some songs a whole bunch, and I like some songs not as much. There is some cool stuff though, like Subterranean. They recorded at Robert Lang in Shoreline, which is North Seattle, and it's where the first Foo Fighters album was recorded. And when you watch I actually have the DVD release where the bonus disc it's like 6 hours of studio footage that didn't make the episodes.
Nice.
And me being a studio nerd, that's the kind of stuff I love. So it's great. And you learn that, like, yeah, Taylor's playing the drums, but Dave's playing the cymbals. And so that's kind of cool in and of itself. And just the fact that they're in Robert Lang, that's like a really special thing. That's obviously a really special episode. They go into the history, the musical history of Seattle, which obviously pertains to the band very personally.
Yeah. But also quite rich in general. Just
quite rich, yeah. And still going strong. Still, there's shows going on tonight.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Feast and the Famine. He's got former Scream members Pete Stahl and Skeeter Thompson.
Yeah.
And they recorded Inner Ear, which was made famous, of course, by Minor Threat.
Yeah.
And
awesome.
All of the Discord bands.
Yeah.
Which obviously, growing up in that scene, very personal to Dave.
I didn't know that, and that explains a lot about why I like that song so much, I think. For sure.
Which one?
Yeah, no, every single one. In the Clear is Preservation Hall.
Virginia, right? That's the Arlington, Virginia one.
Yep. Yeah, Inner Ear. Yep. And interestingly enough, Arlandria is one of the suburbs out there too. And then his mom's name was Virginia. So there's a whole bunch of double meanings going on. That kind of like led you into that episode coming from Wasting Light. So, but yeah, In the Clear was Preservation Hall in New Orleans. They go to New York. They don't go to LA. They actually make the trip out to Rancho de la Luna, which is where Chris Goss and Dave Ketching and Josh Homme and all the like the desert stoner stuff comes out of Dave Ketching. And obviously Dave's recorded there before. It's a really cool studio with a rich history, so it made a very good episode.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to look up the show for sure and watch all of this now for sure.
It's well worth the 8 hours or whatever the series is.
A bunch of bad YouTube all day, you know.
Yeah,
I'll watch this.
Yeah, watch this video. This is some bad YouTube.
No, we're good YouTube.
Yeah, we stop this video right now.
Yes.
Look, I've got mixed feelings on this record. This was. I've learned doing this Foo Fighters thing that expectations can fuck you up. Like Tim, I was riding high on that Foo train. I was probably higher than Tim because I'm Echoes and Wasting Light. And to come into Sonic Highways, and everything I heard about it was like how they were doing it. Oh, it's gonna be this like city thing, you know, and each song is gonna be a city and blah blah blah. I never watched the documentary. Maybe I need to, but I shouldn't have to watch an 8-hour documentary to enjoy a record. Um, this album did
Well,
not do anything for me when it came out. Now it's grown on me because a lot of the things Colquitt said is fucking correct. Like musically, this is a really good record. Lyrically, it's a really good record too. Like I think this is some of Dave's best lyrics. But I think as a whole, the concept failed for me because I'm sorry, I don't get Austin, Texas when I hear "What Did I Do." I don't get New Orleans when I hear "In the Clear." I don't. I think Tori Amos' Scarlet's Walk pulled off the American road trip 1,000 times better than this. This felt like Dave Grohl flying to different cities and looking out a hotel room and saying, "I'm going to write a song about Seattle." That even Seattle, that doesn't. When I think of Seattle, I don't think of that sound. Like to me, I don't think it was executed very well. Saying that though, the songs, some of the songs, like "The Feast and the Famine" is a fucking great song. The lyrics on "Congregation's" really great. And I kind of hear Texas and "What Did I Do?" And it's got some interesting tempo changes and shit, but I don't know. Those last two tracks, "I Am the River," is so long and boring.
Oh, it's not boring. It's beautiful.
It is so boring. I mean,
It is long
when I
though.
think of New York, I don't think of boring. But
well, if we can quote Lee Ving real quick, New York's all right if you like saxophones.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know. I don't particularly like New York, so I didn't know it was about New York. I just heard a really beautiful piece. See, that's the thing. Like I have no concept of what actually was said about the songwriting process due to the show or anything about any of that. I just heard the most musically interesting record this band has put out until this point. That's all I heard.
it is. It is this to me. This is a grower. Like I listened to it again, and I was like, man, this is better than I remember. But I've also heard
Yeah.
Foo Fighters albums after this, so maybe that plays into it. I don't know.
I maybe so because I mean I do agree that there's one after this that I really like, but I was shocked to hear after just the complete like slamming your brakes whiplash effect from the previous record to this record. Like I literally listened to them one in a row for the first time, and it was a shock to hear something from nothing come after that record. Not to say that the other record wasn't good. It's just such a just drastic tonal difference.
I think "Something from
Like,
Nothing" is the worst opening track they've had up to this point, though.
see, I thought like as it was playing and then it hits.
Recorded at Electrical Audio with Steve Albini.
Yeah, like I thought it starts just so weirdly and then it just hits suddenly and then it's over. And then The Feast and the Famine comes on and it's like that's a good opener because it whet my appetite and gave me an idea what's coming, which I was not expecting for any of this record to hear them hit the highs of like some of the like I don't know, man. When I think of like album oriented rock, I don't think of this kind of tone, but this record is so good that I would put it in like an album oriented rock thing, even though it is so far and away more than an album, apparently. I don't know. Like, I don't hear any sounds. I don't hear any towns. I don't hear any cities. I just hear like some badass dudes and women getting to town and making some badass tunes. I mean, that's all I hear.
See, my expectations going in was
Yeah.
it's going to be this. Oh, this is the Foo Fighters in Texas. This is the Foo Fighters in New Orleans, and that we just got a bunch of Foo Fighter songs. Like they're not. They could have been on any record.
I still think this is a special record. I can't say that. I mean, to be fair, this is the point where this band like started making albums that were their own entity. That like I feel like a lot of the records after this have their own distinct vibe, distinct sound. They're more cohesive tonally as well as in vibe. And I feel like this is the first one where I'm like, okay, this is something different. And I feel like they kind of do something different every time from here on out in a way.
See, I think they've always done that though. Like, I know that's the joke is the Foo Fighters keep doing the same thing, but when we're doing this show, it's like every record it has its own thing. You know, they are different.
Yeah.
I mean, I love the concept of this and the music, the lyrics especially. There's some really great lyrics on here, like Tim said about Virginia, and just overall, it never stuck with me, but it has grown on me, so it might move up later. Who knows?
Well, and I think you're both right. Honestly, like the TV. I cannot recommend the TV show enough. But then when you get the full picture, like all I need to do is watch the TV show. I don't feel a burning need to then go listen to the album again.
That's fair.
Because as an album on its own, there's a lot of cool stuff going on, and you can tell that it's, that there's stuff bubbling under the surface. But
I lived in
a lot
New
of these
Orleans.
songs are not very memorable.
No, I mean, I want jazz, some horns, like that New Orleans feel, and I get nothing of that.
Well, you get a little bit there. It's just low in the mix. You can hear a lot of the nuance on the album once you've seen it.
Yeah, but again, you shouldn't have to watch a documentary to enjoy a record, or like to.
Well,
and I agree.
I didn't, and I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it does sound great. Like Butch Vig is involved on this one as well.
Yeah.
And all the studios, the rooms sound great. Like, and they booked it each one for like a week, and went in with nothing and came out with that song.
Like Outside, it's got like this weird. The only thing I could find of California-esque sound would be like there's like a little section that has a little bit of Doors in there.
Sure.
The lyrics, even that one, the lyrics couldn't even save it.
Well, yeah, and again, being a big fan of the Rancho de la Luna scene, personally, I know that's a pretty unique studio that has a really rich history of a lot of really diverse sounding things coming out of it. And I think you've also got Joe Walsh on there, so you got to kind of you can't get too weird.
Up to this point, though, of all the records we've reviewed, Subterranean is my least favorite Foo Fighters song.
That's fair. It's a vibe.
Like, it's a tough one for me. I really like the vibe, and I love everything about it on paper. And then I listen to it, and I'm just like, eh.
Yeah, for real. Like, I was listening to it, and I was like, and I was paying attention to it, which is something that doesn't happen too often with a lot of records. Like, if something catches my ear, and I have to actually actively listen to it in order to like really see what the fuck I feel about it, it's one of those songs. So your mileage may vary depending on your patience. But I felt like the second time I listened to it, it really hit me in a way it didn't the first time. And I'm sure the third time I listened to it, it won't hit me at all. So it's just one of those songs. It's worth listening to. You should check it out. But I don't know if you'll enjoy it necessarily,
Yeah.
It's a song.
And I, even if you don't like the album, I would recommend the TV show.
Yeah.
It is full of all kinds of awesomeness that
Get
helps
that
the
HBO
password. Well, hit me up and I'll see what I could do.
Yeah, man. I need the HBOs.
Well, anybody else got anything to say about Sonic Highways before we move to a more positive note here?
No, but you guys should tell me all about Saint Cecilia, is it? Because I've never heard it. I didn't, I have no idea. Nothing about it. Nothing to know.
So a little background on this. Technically, songs from the laundry room came out first, but I've already made the thumbnails and I'm not changing them. So fuck it. We're talking about Saint Cecilia first.
Cool. So yeah, this was actually a free release that they gave out digitally. It's 5 songs, and it was recorded at the Saint Cecilia Hotel in Nashville, I think. I can't remember. It was they just found some cool room and ripped out a couple songs, except for one was done at 606. But yeah, they just kind of gave it away. It was during that little period of time where people were still trying to figure out digital music on the internet and how to get people to listen to your band. And the Foo Fighters were big enough that they could give away a couple songs. And if you checked it out, great. And if not, no big deal, right? Well, after checking out their free release, I went and paid for a physical copy. I actually think this is one of the better Foo Fighter releases overall. The whole thing's only like 20 minutes, and yet you get almost a perfect Foo Fighters album. You get everything. You get everything they do well in those 20 minutes. Everything from the heavy to a slow brooder to a banger closing track to great openers to some pop punk to some thrashy Killing Joke Motorhead stuff.
It's weird you say pop punk because I know what song you're talking about, and I'm a completely different. I had a completely different notes for Sean.
Okay, yeah, no, listening to it again, it's very poppy, it's very punky, but Foo Fighters style. It's not like it's Epitaph isn't putting it out. Know.
I mean, I would argue that there's a lot of quite a few songs by Foo Fighters that I feel have some pop punk elements.
Sure, and this is one of them. Yeah, it is. I can't recommend this enough. You can stream it for free. You can put it into your library for free.
I just found it on Spotify. I'm going to listen to it later.
It's fantastic. And it sounds great on vinyl. They specially mastered it for the vinyl one.
I know. I still need to pick it up. It's on Amazon for like $16. This is one I need. That's how much Sonic Highways is when I got off the food train again.
Yep, and somewhere between when Sonic Highways was released, I was on the train. By the time the next album comes out, I was off the train.
I didn't hear Saint Cecilia until probably after Concrete and Gold. I was like, what is this fucking EP here?
Okay. No, I really liked Saint Cecilia, but it wasn't quite enough. We'll get to Concrete and Gold, but when the single came out, it was like, I might skip this one. They put out too much good stuff recently that they're bound to have a clunker. And was my attitude going into that one. But, blame Saint Cecilia for that. Because it is. This is just every song is fantastic. It's classic Foo Fighter. You get everything you want out of the Foo Fighters, and it's 20 minutes.
I really like the logo too. Just gonna
that's a cool logo. That's cool.
It does.
Dope logo.
There is not a bad song on here. The title track is awesome. Why couldn't we get a full album like this? Sean is a top song contender. Still getting those Tom Petty vibes here, more so 80s Petty output though.
Okay,
but I'm okay with that. I like Tom Petty. Save Your Breath is a fucking top song contender. The song rips. Iron Rooster, the lyrics, do you remember being children? Do you remember when now? Never.
It's the ballad of the album, or of the EP, but it's one of the better Foo Fighter ballads.
Yeah, it's probably my low point on the EP, but that's not saying much,
Sure.
Never Ending Sigh as a closer. Oh, so good. You take these 5 songs, add in Feast and the Famine, Something from Nothing, and In the Clear off Sonic, and you'd have an LP that would be really fucking high on my list, my rankings.
Well, and I think we didn't get that because this was just kind of a special one-off. Like, hey, we found this like bonus studio that we didn't get to include on Sonic Highways, but we really like the room and we just want to jam out some songs. And off of that experience of Sonic Highways, where we kind of learned how to come up with an awesome song, or a song that's close enough within a week. Like, yeah, let's rip out some stuff. And I do
highly recommend listening to this EP.
Yeah.
Well, I will do
same. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then songs from the Laundry Room. Of course, the Laundry Room was when Dave was in Nirvana. He lived with Barrett Martin.
No, we ain't talking about that one yet. I already made a thumbnail. That's for next week.
Oh, okay. Right on. Video. Never mind. Jumping the gun.
You ain't making me change them damn thumbnails.
Nope. No, I'm not.
We'll get there chronologically, I suppose.
Yeah.
Well,
we're just a little swapped, but we'll go.
Oh, it's the same year. Never mind.
We're not forgetting songs from a Laundry Room.
Good. Okay.
All right. So Sonic Highways. I'm gonna go ahead and just say it's right now. It's number 8.
Okay, well, I guess if we're going to just stare at each other for a minute here, Tim, I'll go first.
I was just trying to count which number it was, but I can go, so.
Okay, go ahead.
Or just tell me which two it's between, and I'll slide them over.
Yeah, it's going to be my number 6. It's between In Your Honor and Nothing Left to Lose.
All right. The reason why I said that is because I was just staring and getting anxious because I didn't know how this was going to bring people. It's my number 4. I really liked it a lot. I'll probably listen to it again. I've listened to it twice. If I go 3 or 4, I know it's a good record and I'll enjoy it a lot.
You know what? That's okay because now, In Your Honor, it matches on number 5.
Yeah!
Still a good baseline.
But yeah, man. Fun times.
So, that was Sonic Highways. What we got next? So fucking mediocre and boring. Alright. Yeah, stick around. Like, subscribe. We're covering Concrete and Gold next. And songs from the Laundry Room, Tim.
Perfect.
Like, subscribe, leave us a comment down below. What's your favorite ranking or album? Where would you put Sonic Highways? La-di-da-di-da.
Have you heard Saint Cecilia?
Yeah. That motherfucker.
No, and I can't wait. But you should listen to it too.
That'd be number 3 on my list. If that track listing I said earlier, it'd be number 3.
Yeah, I'd probably be on number 4.
Yeah, that's fair.
4 or 5. It'd be in there. It's definitely in the green.
It's good. Be safe. Make good decisions.